Rusty Stainless here. I've got the Panasonic G6 and I'll just run through with you what the handling's like with the camera. I won't look at any particular feature in depth or compare video samples, but just a general feel of the camera. The camera is small. Let me say that. This is a small group of cameras along with the GH2, just to give you a comparison. It's a small camera compared to something like a 600D. It's really small, and you would really notice the difference going to this. At the back, got a lovely 3-inch screen there. The touch screen is so nice to use. Let me take that off there so we can see, that it works fine. Oh, see, resolves a beautiful picture. Okay, now with the kit lens on, nicely balanced. It focuses quickly with the autofocus. What else can I tell you? It's got a host of. I should leave that open. It claims it has 7 function buttons, of which 5 are physical buttons. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th one over here, and then claims that 2 can be set up on the screen here. And that might sound a bit funny saying on the screen there, but this touchscreen is so workable compared, say, to the GH2, which has a resistive screen. And with this camera you really had to push and labour on it, but this is a nice little update on this one, so really lovely to use. The function buttons are fairly well thought out coming out of the factory. I mean, you can change them, but I think they've done a good job coming out of the factory. And so the first function button gives you the quick menu, and that allows you to run through things there. I'm not used to this menu yet. I'm still mentally in my head working on the old menu system that's similar to the GH2, but I might get used to it in future. The second function button is the autofocus lock or exposure lock there. The third function button is the peaking. Now this is one button. One disappointment with buying this camera was finding out that the focus peaking is a bit of a gimmick, and I might in the end just completely change the function of that third function button. I really don't think I'll be using focus peaking into the future. The fourth function button here is the Wi-Fi button, and I really appreciate this Wi-Fi button here, and the reason is I have a GoPro as well, and the GoPro has a similar, it acts as the hotspot, sends out the signal to your smartphone, and you can drive the camera from the smartphone. In the GoPro, that really sucks. It's buried in the menu and it takes forever to get it going. So here on the G6, you just hit the button and you can start to engage the camera. The app with it is fantastic. You can control the camera, do the focusing from here. This is a really top bit of gear. It really shits all over the the GoPro, and here I'll be a little bit silly. You can see me there, and you can see me here. So you notice on the phone it's got the focusing square on my face, the face detection going on there, and yeah, this is a really well thought out app, and the Wi-Fi implementation is really well done there, so I'm very happy with that part of the camera. The fifth function button is the live view button, and so that's on, off. So those are the function buttons. Those are the standard functions. They can all be changed. Let's look at the top. As you can see here, it's got a dedicated filming button. I don't use it, and you set the camera to film mode and you just use the front button like you would. So I kind of don't really see the need for that, and maybe that could have been used for something else. Again, with this intelligent auto, I'm not a big fan of it. Can't see myself using it. So that's a waste of a button for me. This little rocker switch here, that's handy for changing settings, like when you're in manual mode. And again, here with the wheel, great for changing in manual mode. It's got speakers up here. Panasonic have put a little thought into that, because on the GH2 they're actually in the top of the flash. Now, it's no big deal. Let me put the flash up here. The speakers, the microphones stay down here. On this one they come up. It's no big deal, because really you wouldn't be using flash during filming. But yes, it's a better setup. One of the big improvements over this camera that this one has is the placement of the microphone jack. They've bumped it up to 3.5. This was notorious for having a little 2.5 input there, and it's on the side. Now, if you're a film person like me who jumps in front of the camera a lot, and you need to see yourself filmed, this camera has a terrible big lug here where your strap went, and the microphone jack is sitting out here, the cord jack sitting out here. So Panasonic have improved that significantly by putting the door to the front so that your microphone cord would come out directly forward and say over the lens here, and they've reduced the size of the strap lug here, and so that is much more workable and keeps everything out of the way of the screen so you can see in here. And great for little YouTube video makers. I really like that. Another crazy little criticism I heard about the G6 was the softness of the eye cup, and I'll be perfectly honest, this G6 is harder than the GH2. Will you knock yourself out with this? No. You won't need stitches. No, you'll be fine using this eye cup. Last thing, let's go underneath. To accommodate the some more functions on the side of the camera here, oops-a-daisy, press the button. To accommodate more things on the side of the camera here, Panasonic took away the side entry SD card here, which I liked on the side there, and they fitted it in with the battery here. So the SD card sits here, the battery sits here. I don't like it here. If the camera's on the tripod, you can't quickly get to it and take it out. I often take the card out of the GH2 and slip it into the computer and play with the file, put it back. So I do tend to use that a lot, so that would be an annoying thing. So it's a shame they went backward on that. Lastly, the thing I'd mention is the quality of the finish. I don't like it. On the back of the screen here, this is a very rough style of plastic. On the GH2, that's actually smooth. It feels very nice, really, for a camera. Whereas this is that rough feeling plastic. Even if I rub my hand over it, you can hear it. It's a different, it's less noisy, it's smoother. The feel of the plastic finish is different. This is a harder plastic. When I open that door there for the microphone, that's a hard plastic that actually, I'd have to say, doesn't feel like it will last as long as, say, the plastic used on the GH2. So, overall, what would I say? Well, I did forget to mention, it was just the last thing I did want to mention was the weight. Now, the GH2 is, let me put this one on first. So this one's coming up at, settling for final weight, this is coming up with the lens on, with the battery and the card in. It's coming up around 500, settling now at 514 on the scale. Let's take that off. And the GH2 is 565. So that's 50 grams. It's a, 50 grams lighter camera. That's a big bonus, I think, After a day of carrying this all around, you would notice it. Well, you'd notice it if you're a wimp. Now, lastly, manual focusing with this camera. It's great. There's so many adapters now for these cameras. Got the Chinon on there. It's fully bombed for manual use with these old lenses. It does have focus peaking, this camera. That has been the greatest disappointment. It's probably one of the reasons I bought the camera in the first place and held out for it, and in the end that didn't deliver. I wasn't happy, but it came up with the goods with the smartphone app, so that much has made up for my disappointment on the focus peaking. So there you have it, the G6. Great little camera, incredibly light, I love it. Love the touchscreen, well set out, a big improvement over the GH2 if you've got that camera, and amazing feature set. Video quality is great. I think you're going to love it, and I think it's exceptional value for the money. So there's mine. Go for it.